This time we have Brian Mendoza with us. He's gonna be doing the hosts, and welcome everybody for the Mixed Nuts Reading Club. We are trying this new strategy to also include Europe in the good timing zone. And then next week we do Asia mostly, and then we take turns, and yeah. Anyways, the sessions are all recorded, so feel free to watch them in the Tibetan language channel. And yeah, as I say, today Brian is our host, so I'll just introduce him very quickly. He's a very good friend, long-term, well, somehow long-term student from Mexico, and he has worked a lot as, well, first as volunteer, but now he also works a lot for Diamond Cutter Institute mostly, but also like with different tech supports. What else do you do, Brian? Advertising and...
Not so much advertising. I'm the tech director for DCI Global and for the Sedona College of International Management. And yeah, pretty much that's what I do.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit, like, why did you choose this reading? And then from there you can take the plane.
Perfect.
Sheila likes to say.
Thank you so much, Juan. Great job. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Sonam. Welcome, Sylvia. It's great to have you here. You know, this reading that I choose it because personally I've been dealing a lot with this kind of problems, you know, pride. And I think it's very important to understand what are the different phases that pride has. And in order to be able to identify when we are being prideful, because I noticed that this is one of the main poisons that we have as human beings. And it brings a lot of problems in our lives. And specifically in this amazing book about all kinds of karma, they speak of being a direct correlation, which is being born in a less fortunate country, right? Society. But to be honest, pride brings a lot more problems in our lives and we don't even realize. So I think it's very important that we understand and learn how to identify when we are being prideful. That's the reason why I choose this reading. So let's move on. I thought you were going to say something. But anyway, so what do you think? I mean, I guess Sylvia and Sunam had the chance to read this amazing part because actually the funny part is that the section that we will be discussing mainly today is not part of the main reading of the book, but it's an appendix. So that makes it more amazing. So did you have the chance to read it? What do you think? What are your insights, mainly in general for the reading? And then we go specifically. Who wants to go first? I think Sylvia is the one. This is a Buddhist fight, right?
I'm very sorry I had not the chance to read it, but
Don't worry.
I was really looking forward because I really think it's so important that we detect those different forms of pride in ourselves. And there is a commentary about Arya Nagarjuna who also he talks about all those, I think those seven kinds of pride. And it's, for me, it was really astonishing because part of it I wouldn't have recognized as being prideful, right? So that's my take on it.
Thank you so much. And what about you, Sunam?
I found it very interesting. We have in the reading you send us ahead of time two classification, one with 7 and one with 9 types of pride. And I went through them, and I think also the classification is mainly about, based on one of these main human instincts, that you all the time judge the other person and try to figure out, am I a little bit higher than them? Are we equal, or is the other one a little bit lower? And I think I really try to figure out the emotion and feelings when these come up, what they describe. And I found in my case, at the moment when you figure out that the other person might be higher than you, then you trigger your pride and you say, no, I'm better, or maybe I'm only a little bit under him. Or so for me, I really contemplated it, and I think it boils really down. I can just speak for myself. When this pride is triggered, it's always about this judging, what is the relationship, and then try to heave yourself above the other.
Right. Yeah, it's like you're constantly comparing yourself, right, with others. And
yeah.
The funny part is that if we really think about it, if we bring it to the pen, there's no you that should be compared to that other thing that actually is not even there yet. Also.
I think, and this was the one which I really thought the most about it. It was pride that says me, which focuses upon the different parts that we took on at birth and says to itself, this is me.
Wow.
And I totally agree. It's really this clinging to myself. Why do I have always to compare myself to others? Why do I always have to make the best figure? And and I'm offended. I think what the pride is also being very, very strongly offended if anybody else does not agree with you that you are the best person in the room.
Right.
So I think there then the anger goes on in when somebody triggers me at that one, and also clinging to this me. I found it very interesting. That was really the one which troubled me the most when I read it. And then I thought about, I think it also refers to social status, because this was then the connection, because pride also leads to a lower social status, being reborn in a lower social status. And I found that very interesting. I grew up in a very small village with about 200 people, and the family I was born in was one of the most respected ones in this small village. So I really have this some kind of inborn pride that I am part of the upper level of the society, even if it was a small society. And even if I don't live there since more than 40 years, when I visit my hometown, I still notice that this pride is coming up. And so it's really, we have to work so hard on that.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the key is to remove this constant judging. Who is the higher one? Who is the higher one?
Right. And I would like to make a how do you say it? Like a survey, let's say. And I would like to ask our audience, how many people actually read the reading? I mean, you guys you have a button on your Zoom that says raise your hand. Please click that button if you read the files that Juan was so nice to send to us. Okay, I have some people here. All right. Okay, cool. That question comes to so I can understand if I should share the reading or not. Now I see that I should, that I must. Okay, so what do you think if we read it with you, Sylvia? If you start reading it, do you
Yes.
feel comfortable? Perfect. Cool. So we have the book here. Can you see the book?
Yes.
Perfect. Cool. So we start with this part. But let's jump to the, oh, go ahead.
I suggest if you can make your screen zoom a little bit.
Okay.
So then the letters look bigger.
I'm a new Mac user. Here it is. Oh no, this is for to find.
Sometimes it's at the bottom. Because you have, yeah, I see. It's not the Word document. You have the.
Yeah, I have. Oh, let me open the Word
Yeah.
document. Let me see if I have it here.
I can send it to you in your WhatsApp. Does that work?
Don't worry, I have it right here. Thank you, Juan. Here it is. All right. We make it bigger. Zoom. Here it is. All right. Word. Cool. Here it is. So let's jump to the juicy part. Oh, by the way, I saw that Gina is here. Everyone, if you have the chance to thank Gina, she did an amazing job with the illustrations for this book. So thank you, Gina, for doing that. You're amazing. So here we go. We have, well, I'm going to start and then I'm going to jump to you. All right, Sylvia, are you okay with it?
Yes.
So we have here in the book, I'm going to do a major reading, so we don't spend much time on it. But here they explain that, as already Suna mentioned, we have two different classifications of pride. And the first one is based on 7 types. And that's the one that we start reading here. So if you want to start, Sylvia, this is the moment. We start with
1, equal pride, where we think to ourselves, I am completely equal to this other person in terms of my social status and so on.
All right.
I go on, right?
Correct.
Better pride. Better pride, where we think I am better than this other person in those same regards. Then there is prouder than pride, where we think to ourselves, I'm superior even to those who are especially superior. Pride, number 4, that says me, which focuses upon the different parts that we took on at birth and says to itself, this is me. I go on, or do you want to?
Let's
comment?
finish the 7.
Okay. Exceeding pride, where even though we have yet to achieve a certain high quality, we think to ourselves, I have reached it. 6, slightly less pride, where we think to ourselves that we are just a little less eminent than those who possess extraordinary personal qualities.
Ryan is smiling, me too, and nodding.
And 7, perverted pride, where we have the delusion that we possess high good qualities, even though we do not.
Great, thank you so much. So here it is. Here's the first classification. Do you have any insights on this that you just read, Sylvia? Do you want us to start the conversation?
Let's start with the conversation.
All right, cool. So what I take out from this part is very funny. You know, in my job, I know a lot of great teachers, people who is extraordinary, starting of course with the beautiful people that is here with me today in this talk. And you know, sometimes we as humans, we tend to think that certain kind of titles or certain kind of recognition is adding value to us, right? For example, I started with DCI as a person that they hire just by the hour. And I started doing small jobs for them. Then a couple of years later, of course, using the seed system, I get this beautiful, and I'm really honored to get the title of being the tech director, right? So when I get this title, I didn't realize, but I started to be more prideful. And then I see all this, and this is something that I struggle a lot of, okay? So I see other directors, and especially those that I kind of don't like because of my seeds. And I think to myself, I'm as good as him. Why I don't get as much, I don't know, whatever benefits he's getting if I'm as good as him, right? Because I'm also a director. So what it says in the book is really funny, because you realized how you tend to think that to yourself, if you're prideful, right? Oh, then at least a little less, but I'm as good as him. So what do you think of this? So, I mean, when I said, what do you think of this, is how do you think that this relates to the karmic correlation of being born in a less fortunate society? What?
Are you asking in general to
Yeah, in general, whoever wants to jump in.
Yeah. What do you say? What are the benefits of not being born in a lesser part of a society?
No, what is the correlation between having this kind of pride and being born in a less fortunate society?
Okay. Well, what I have noticed is like it's true every time, and this happens to me often. I realize in my life, different periods in my life, I start comparing with other people, and then it's similar to what you share, Brian. That then I feel upset if someone that I believe it's kind of an equal person to me is having more benefits than I am. That somehow triggers something in me, because I feel like it's unfair, you know, like, it's unfair. But then I noticed that jealousy, it's almost like the pride triggers jealousy or something like that. And I noticed that jealousy really disturbs my whole interactions with people. Mm-hmm. Then I become somehow an unpleasant person to be around. And I think that unpleasant, like making others people feel uncomfortable, to me it makes sense. It's like the same that to be born in a lesser part of a society, because you experience yourself usually, if to me the image that comes that when you are lesser part of a society, you are experiencing yourself as not very pleasing for others, or somehow is this comparison. Because I guess it doesn't really matter. Like, it's not about like having money or having status or whatever. You can be very loved by others, and then you don't feel this maybe discrimination. But if you are feeling that people is discriminating you, I'm guessing in somehow it makes sense that you make others feel very uncomfortable around you. And that's why people don't like spending time with you or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think, may I?
Please do.
And I think for me, it is when I feel this kind of pride, any kind of those 7 types, right? There are 2 ways where the little sensory cycle goes on. The first is that I get competitive. So yeah, I want to maybe to show that I'm as good as someone else. And the other one is that it's like a kind of craving of respect. You know, what does that mean? How you don't respect me? And that's also very, I think, appalling is the word, right, for others. So this is the craving for respect is another side of the coin, and becoming very competitive. And just one back to Brian's question at the beginning. It's you know, I was, and Sunam knows that because we were working together on that for, I think, 4 years or something. The first 7 DCI events, I was the organizer of the first 7 DCI events in Germany with Geschler, and of course with the team. And every time he came, every time the event was, I have gotten a promotion at work or a raise, or so I was climbing the career ladder, and I was yeah, getting full of myself, right? And that led to a very poisonous kind of pride, and of course it crashed. So I think for me, I lived this correlation. This was an experience of mine. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
I find it interesting when I think about the karmic correlation, about what you described this. So we make ourselves higher. Somehow we are stealing qualities and assign them to ourselves, even if we don't have it. So I see the correlation of you steal qualities, especially from people with good qualities around you. You always tend to think of yourself that you have them as well. So I see it as some kind of form of, I think, unconscious stealing, that you think you have the same qualities, and that karmically, I think, really leads to, yeah, to the being reborn with a lower social status, or maybe with lower quality. Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. Thank you. So what do you think? Well, let's do something. Let's go to the other 9, the other 9 classifications, and then we finish we keep the conversation. So now these 9 are found in the Abhidharma Kosha, and they are called the 9 of 3. Why are they called that way? Because they are 9 kinds of pride divided in 3 bigger, let's say, classifications. All right. So do you want to start reading the first 3, Sunam, and then I jump to the next 3?
Yeah.
Cool.
I was thinking, should we give the category for the 3, or should we read
Oh,
them?
yeah, please. Let's do it.
Yeah, so the first 3 are simple pride. The type of pride where you think to yourself, compared to this person, I am truly supreme. The second one, the type of pride where you think to yourself, I am on the same level as this extraordinary other person. And the third one, the type of pride where you think to yourself, I am only slightly less than this incomparable other person.
Thank you. The 4th kind of pride is, this person is better than me, but only a little. The 5th one is, this other incomparable person is at the same level as I am. The 6th one is, this other person is worse than me. What do you think, Juan? Do you want to jump into the last 3?
Sure. Okay, number 7. There is no one who is better than me. Number 8. There is no one who is even equal to me. Number 9. There is no one who is even slightly less than I am.
Cool, thank you. So there it is. We have other 9, which are kind of similar to the first 7, right? But I don't know, it feels even funny to read out loud, like if I'm saying it. What do you think? I don't know. I even noticed how Juan started to laugh when he read, there is no one better than me. He just laughed.
Yeah, I think I laugh because it's a very interesting feeling, actually.
Yeah,
Like something that it's surprising to me when I read this reading is like many times I have pride, but I don't realize I have pride. And I really like this reading because it's telling you the different forms you can have it, and maybe you don't realize. Let's say for me, the most common, what I call pride, is when you are wrong, let's say, but you don't want to admit you're wrong, and then you're very stubborn, and that's it, right? But there are so many other forms of pride that can deceive myself. I can be tricked, and I can really believe that I'm almost as good as this person, and in my heart feel like it's true, and then I feel like righteous about it. But then just reading this, it makes me open my eyes that, hey, that's one of the ways pride can manifest, you know. So I think first step to stop the pride, because of course I think in a way the whole purpose of getting to know about pride is not only know about it, but it's to do something about it.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
What to
I
do
think
about
first
it?
step is recognize it. Recognize it is first step. If you don't see it, then you're just gonna be blind about it and keep acting, behaving the same. So now at least if I ever feel the same, I will have to wonder, ask myself, okay, I think this. And maybe there are sometimes that yes, two people have a very similar ability for something. But I think also something is key is to check if you are feeling some negative emotion or affliction while you think that. It's different to say like, oh yeah, this person is very good at whatever, playing the piano, and I'm also very good. Yeah, it's cool. You're happy and it's fine. But if you are like, no, this person, it's the same as me, and you are unhappy, um, it's like a red light. Like check something there, check something there. So I really like this reading because it's giving us tools to recognize we could be, or I could be, being much more prideful than I thought I was.
right.
Mhm. And I think one aspect of this pride is, and you know, we all have these blind spots, but this feeling of knowing it better and being righteous and wanting to have control of something. This is also it shows that there could be a problem with pride.
So, yeah, so here we are, right? We already discovered what are the 9 kinds of pride. And that was mainly the reason why I picked this reading. So everyone here in the audience learn what are those 9 and those 7 that the ancient books mention. I saw in the chat that somebody asked for the link for the book. The link, I already put it in the chat. I just like to make an announcement. Well, not an announcement here, just a comment. Please, guys, respect the laws of your country. If this kind of content is not allowed in your country, respect your laws. Plant good seeds so that those seeds grow, and let those laws change by seeds, okay? Don't put yourself or others in danger for getting this content. Remember that by respecting the laws, you are also protecting Geshe Michael and yourselves. So now that I gave that speech, let's make a question to the audience. How many of you, raise your hand again, felt related to at least one of the kinds of pride that we saw today? Raise your hands, click the button. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Thank you, everyone that is acting. So now, go ahead, Sylvia, please go ahead.
Yeah, Brian. So Number 9, there is no one who is even slightly less than I am. Isn't that an interesting one?
Very interesting.
And this is one that really surprised me, that I was talking about at the beginning, because we tend to think that we are so special. And even this tendency to think that one face of it is, oh, I'm the worst of all in everything. And that is a kind of pride. And who would have guessed that?
Correct.
I wouldn't.
That's one of the kinds that hides better, right?
That
It's,
what? That?
It's better hidden. It's better hidden.
Yes, hidden, yeah.
So now, you know, when I realized, I'm going to share a little bit about my personal experience. When I realized that this thing was happening to me, this pride thing, and it was starting to hurt my personal life, I went to teachers to ask for help. And I gotta say that, and this is for someone that is putting into practice the seed system, it's very important that you understand that even something that is not that cool in your life, like this thing of the pride, could be a blessing. Because thanks to pride, I managed to go back to my practice of planting seeds, of sitting in silence to contemplate, on exercising to improve my life, right? So do you, Sylvia, Juan, or Sunam, do you have any kind of advice to someone that already detected during this talk that they have a small quantity of pride and they want to change it? Something you want to tell them to do? And then, I'm sorry, and before you answer, guys, if you have questions, please post it in the chat, or even better, in the question section that you have in the bottom of your screen. Now, go ahead. I think Sunam wants to say something.
I think it goes really back to one of the first things we learn when we start to become a better person, and that is the equanimity. See everybody as equal. And that does not mean only the other ones are all equal. I love all of them in the equal way. That includes myself, that I am one of these equal person as well. And I find it was really, when I thought, as I said, for me, this pride was always about this judging where I am. I really immediately made the reference to, I think working on equanimity is one of the steps we should go here. And even in Maitreya's 7 steps to develop compassion, to develop equanimity, is step 0. It's not even step 1. So it's really, I think, something which is so hard to achieve, because we tend to judge persons, we tend to either love or hate them, or we tend to feel better as them because we're always judging. So I think really this practices which go to loving everybody and develop the equanimity, I think would be, I believe, would be a good anti-pride
solution.
Practice, solution. Yeah.
Thank you. Great suggestion. Sylvia, Juan, do you have anything? An advice?
Well, you know, I love the Lojong teachings, and there is one advice. It says that when you are in a room, see yourself as the lowest, but just in a respectful kind of way. And when we discussed that in the ACI course, it was that you you know, we don't know who everyone else is, and how accomplished these persons might be, and just to think about how they might be a hidden enlightened being that shows you something what you can learn. This is an attitude that might be helpful. And another thing is I sometimes I do my 6 times book with those forms of pride, and to do when I detect myself that I feel kind of I feel higher or better, or I know more or I know better than the other person, then what I do is really contemplate about their good qualities. And that helps me to calm down. And
Great. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Juan, you have something to add?
So for me, something that works for me, it's bringing my mind back to love. Because when I start feeling these emotions of pride and sometimes connected to jealousy, I realize I'm forgetting to love the person I'm feeling these things towards. And then if I go back to, okay, what are you doing, right? Like, what are you thinking? Come back to reality check. And then you say, but what if I love this person and I want them to be happy? I really like that definition for love. Like, love is to really want that person to be happy, and then you're loving them. So then that starts softening my heart and my emotions, and then I start like, okay, well, actually, it's good that they have something good. I shouldn't feel like this crazy competitiveness or anything. And in a way, I rejoice about their success, their good qualities. And it's so funny because it actually, the other part of the reading that we were using as material for this session, actually that's an antidote for the problems that pride will bring. If we rejoice about other people's qualities, then we attain those qualities. If we get prideful or jealous about those qualities, then we go farther away from them. It's really crazy, and I think that's why it's very difficult sometimes to get out of the cycle or the loop of same habits. Like, I have noticed in my personal experience, to be honest, like when I was very prideful and very competitive about translations, I will like really close the doors in every sense for me to be able to be included in the translation teams, in the translation projects. And I was so judgmental of other people's translations. I was trying to correct everybody. And it was so clear for me that I was really making karmic obstacles. And then I really changed my mind, my heart, after a lot of pain, let's say. The pain in a way made me humble. And then I was like, okay, no, that's not the way. First, I'm forgetting to love my friends. In this case, people were my friends, even worse, right? And I was arguing with them, not getting along with them. I think this is not worth it. God bless that they are translating. Everybody translates in a different style. They are good translators, you know? And then all of a sudden things change and they started to inviting me. I was able to achieve those goals, but by loving the people, not by getting angry and jealous and pride. So I think love is a very powerful antidote.
Love achieves all, right? So
yeah, that's it. And I noticed that too, that if you have pride, if you feel this lower pride, right, that the heart is not open, is
right.
You can work so many other good things in your practice, but this will always keep a part of your heart closed. Pride.
That is true.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna bring it to oh, I'm sorry, Please finish your.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh yeah, I remember. So, and I want to bring it back to, you also need to think about what works for me is to think about emptiness, to think about how there's no me there to be proud of. There's no that other thing or person that I need to be compared with. And there's not even a comparison, right? The simple act of comparing is empty itself. So what I do, to be honest, is working really nice for me is being more compassionate, as Sunam said, being more loving, opening my heart to listen to other people, even when the kind of talk they are bringing to me is not something that will add to my life. I do it for the sake of making them feel important, cherished, and loved. And then the motivation is completely different than, for example, just being in the middle of gossip, right? And always have something, well, I use a lot of phones, right? But I read the books in the phone, always have something to read or to listen. These reading clubs, thank you, Juan, for organizing them. They are amazing and they are perfect to keep your mind in a good track of studying emptiness and seeds, right? So if you keep studying these two, your mind automatically, your seeds will ripen in a way that you will find yourself in a better understanding of the world. And that means that you won't be as prideful as you were before. So thank you, everyone. I think we have time for questions. I don't see here any questions. Oh yeah, I have three.
There are some questions in the Q&A.
Right. So let's start with Asistente Anónimo. And he or she says, how do you recommend working with the seeds to love your parents when you feel ashamed of them? Oh, that's an amazing question. Thank you. Anyone wants to jump in? If you want, I can jump in while you think of something. That is a great question. And because I feel, well, I don't feel ashamed of my parents, but I do feel sometimes difficult. I find difficult to love them. And that is because our parents, first of all, we need to understand that our parents are very powerful karmic objects. Therefore, these people are the perfect mirror of what's going on in our minds.
Yeah.
That's why we find them so annoying sometimes, because we're watching directly into our thoughts and watching what we don't like about ourselves. So my recommendation to you is what Sunam and Juan said, actually Sylvia too, open your heart, make a big effort to listen to them, with the understanding that this listening to them will make them feel cherished and loved. And always think about this. You wouldn't have this body, this mind, this chance to become successful in any way if it wasn't for your parents. Whatever the background is that you have with them, it is thanks to them that you can achieve whatever you want in life. It is thanks to them that you have a body and a mind that is annoyed by them. That's my advice to you. Anyone wants to add something else?
Yeah, regards this topic, I actually been thinking about it lately, so I'm also very surprised that this question came. I think I will say, you can understand and at the same time not agree with something. Because sometimes I could be in the position that certain behaviors that my parents have, I don't agree with them. And maybe because of that is that I could feel ashamed. It's not that really I feel ashamed of them. It's that I may feel uncomfortable with certain behaviors that they are doing. So I think this is a good first step maybe to separate. It's not them, is maybe what they are doing. And here I will take a special technique Geshe Michael taught us sometime. He came to Guadalajara and he gave us a talk called Undercover Angels. And it was a public talk, and he was saying, like, there are two kinds of angels: the ones who teach you what to do and they inspire you and you want to be exactly like them. But then he said, but there is another kind of angel, and it's equally powerful. And sometimes he has said that it's sometimes could even be more powerful. And he said they teach you what not to do. Now you can see very clearly something that you don't agree, and you say, okay, now I see how it feels if I do it to other person, or if I behave in the same way. I don't want to behave that way. But if I didn't have that strong mirroring or perception projection, I will then decide strongly not to do that anymore. Now, the other thing I could be useful is to try to take it easy, kind of say like, well, you know, like I understand, like they behave like this sometimes, and it's okay, you know, like they have their own ways, they do their own things, but I don't get upset, I don't get ashamed. It's like something I just don't agree with them. It's like the attitude, how you take it, make it peaceful in your heart, and then you project that peacefulness, like, yeah, well, my mom, you know, I'm just saying an example, like, yeah, well, my mom, you know, she sometimes can be grumpy, but you know, like moms are like that, whatever. And then you don't take it that personal. You still don't agree for people being grumpy, but then you keep loving them, like, ah, well, I wish my mom is happy. She's grumpy sometimes. I'm going to work on my own grumpiness and hope she changes sometimes, but it's a nice person. It's like techniques to maybe go through this view, and always remembering they could really be very special holy beings trying to teach you something, to do some kind of work in your heart, acceptance or not doing that thing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Juan.
It is something. Sometimes certain mirrors they trigger in us, like we don't like that, and we don't want to have nothing to do with it, and so there is for me a way to snap out of that is to especially with my mom, to serve her, to respect her, to really consciously take a different attitude towards her, and that snaps me out, and that changes our relationship. It's like Juan said, when you feel jealousy, what can snap you out of it if you change your mindset into rejoicing the other's good qualities or their successes, and this is to serve and to respect. This is what snaps me out of that.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. Do you want to jump to the next one, Sunam?
Yes.
Perfect.
The next one is, how should I manage pride when I hear somebody else talking about Buddhism in a way that is not correct, according to me, of course? How could I do not to be condescending? What does that word mean? I don't know that one.
Condescending means that you agree with them just because.
It makes me think that the other is inferior.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the question. I think that applies to a lot of topics when we talk to other people. And I would approach it from the point, yes, I see it clearly that in this moment your pride is triggered. I know it better. The Buddhism I'm practicing is the correct one. and this goes with a lot of other topics as well. And I would first really consider that every person is different. Even Lord Buddha taught 3 cycles with quite slightly differences, because people need have different level of understandings and different levels or capacity to understand. So I would first consider this aspect, that this might be correct for this person in their stage of understanding to practice. And on a side note, yes, be sure you know yourself all these different kinds of teaching and levels. And if you then can for sure say that the teaching is not correct according to Lord Buddha, then you have the duty to debate with them. And very interesting, that is the first thing which we all learn when we learn debating. Debating is not about being right. It's not about satisfying your pride that you are right. It's about getting to the truth. And I think when you put this aspect in your heart, when you start debating the other person, then your pride is gone anyway, because it's not about that you are right. Maybe you also open your mind that you learn something in this debate.
That is a great answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone want to say something?
It's hard to forget your pride when you debate.
Yeah, correct. Debating is about forgetting your pride. Cool. So I think that is a perfect answer. So let's jump to the next one. So next we have Olga, who asked, equanimity means seeing everyone as equal to me, but isn't it just one of the kinds of pride? He is equal to me, so why does he get the benefits and I don't? That is a good question. Somebody wants to answer this?
I see Sylvia.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, Juan, you go, because
no,
you already talked about it, kind of, right?
No, the only thing I'm noticing here is like, I think equanimity here is used in a different sense, because equanimity, when we talk about the steps to develop ultimate love or bodhicitta, equanimity means to remember that everybody has been your friend, your best friend, and everybody has been your worst enemy. So that thought somehow makes you love everybody the same, because you're like, well, my best friend also has done very bad things to me, and I have done very bad things to them. And now here we are friends again. And it can be the same with everybody. So this kind of equanimity is where we are all the same, in the sense that we have been everything. In this sense, you could all say that we all have emptiness, but that will be a different topic. That's not the kind of empty equanimity that says everyone is equal to me. It's more that we have been in so many different positions. So why let's just everybody be happy. We all want to be happy. We all have been super close friends. So let's keep helping each other to be super happy. And that equanimity helps you not to give all the privileges to some people, and not to push away or hurt other people on purpose. I guess I'm just trying to talk about the word equanimity in this question. But if anybody wants to answer the relationship between the pride and...
In my opinion, that answers the question, right? because equanimity, as you mentioned, is about emptiness. It's about remembering that we all have emptiness, right? The same way.
I would only add that equanimity should lead to loving everybody. And when you love somebody, you want to wish them all the best in the world and that he is happy. And then you don't are envy anymore if he gets some kind of benefits, because you're happy for the other person that he gets the benefits.
Right. Thank you. So we are 5 minutes to go. Olga, well, Olga pasted again his answer here. Yeah, cool. We have another question here. Isn't there some kind of pride in saying that our view is what is that of the higher school of Buddhism? That is a great question. You want to jump in, Sylvia, to answer this one?
No.
Okay.
I
So
have an
now-
idea. Well,
Okay,
soon.
Go ahead, Juan.
No, my idea is that, and you know, it's one of the important topics in the philosophy studies, that we learn perception and debate, and in these topics it's very important to talk about the definitions. So pride, if we think about what actually pride means, and I think we can say we are studying the highest school of Buddhism without pride, or you can say we are studying the highest school of Buddhism with pride. But pride, it has to be an internal movement of mind. Something is happening in order to be calling it pride. So it's like the emptiness of pride, like saying that you study the highest of something not necessarily means there is pride there. And I could even talk about it, like if you just check on this, the highest school of Buddhism has 5 big topics, and what sometimes is called lower, I guess, or incomplete, not wrong, remember, it's not wrong, it's incomplete forms of Buddhism. They only study 3 topics, which is the Abhidharma, the Vinaya, sometimes only 2 actually. And some other schools is Abhidharma, Vinaya, then they take it to logic, the sutras, for example. So it's next school. And then middle way starts talking also about perfection of wisdom, and what else? I'm missing one. 2 levels of perfection of wisdom. I don't know, but what I'm saying is, like, you see, you could call it also the highest because it has more topics. It's like more subjects that you are putting there. Maybe that's a safe way to say, it's a way to consider it could be the highest. Safe way to say it.
Johan, you're finished?
Done.
I would not reference in your question the highest school of Buddhism, because you can also call it the 3rd school or the C school or whatever. I would focus on the word pride here, because we have seen today 7 different kinds and 9 different kinds of bad pride. I would define it, which is a negative emotion and which creates negative karma. But we learn, when we learn the 4 steps the first time, that there is also some kind of good pride, especially when you do your coffee meditation. And for me, the differentiation between good and bad pride is, the good pride is, look at me, how cool I am. And I think that's exactly the pride we discussed for the last 60 minutes. And the good pride, in my eyes, I'm just happy that I have the opportunity to do something good, to help somebody else, and in this case, to study Buddhism. If it's called the highest or whatever, I don't care. I'm just happy that I have the opportunity and created the karma to be able to study it. So I think I would reference it in that way, your question.
That's very beautiful. And Geshe-la also gave an advice similar to that. When someone in a teaching said, oh, I have this bad kind of pride, he said, okay, it's, you know, you have this pride, but it's a small step into a good form of pride. You have this ability to study a very sophisticated philosophy and to understand it, and do that for the sake of others, and then you're snapped out of this little kind of pride.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone. We are reaching at the time to close, and I want to say thank you again. A great job. Your answers were amazing. Juan, thank you so much for organizing all of this. You worked very hard to do this, and I really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure everyone here watching today appreciate you. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Sunam. Great advice. You're amazing. Thank you, of course, to all of our translators. Guys, you rock. I mean, without you, we wouldn't be able to communicate to all those amazing people in the different countries that speak your languages. All our thanks and love to you. And once again, Gina, great job with the images in this particular book. And of course, thank you to Geshe Michael for leading us to this system and all the great things he does. See you next time. Please don't forget to donate, okay? We need your donations. Here is again the link to donate. And have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Sunam. Thank you, Sylvia. I hope you all have fun and we can use this material. This is gonna be recorded if anybody wants to watch it again or share it with somebody else. It's gonna be recorded on YouTube. And the idea is that people can use these things and it's useful and it's fun and it's tools to our daily life. And as Brian said, thank you. If you can donate, we can really use those donations. So feel free. You don't have to, but if you can, very appreciated. DiamondColorClassics.com, you can donate. Anything will be welcome.
Juan, there's a question, on which YouTube channel are the recordings shared?
It's gonna be the YouTube channel is called Tibetan Language Channel. I'm gonna be sending the link to the Telegram group of Diamond Color Classics. If you find it, you can share it with other people. There is the same channel where the mixed notes terms are recorded and shared.
I'm
There
very
is a
sorry.
playlist.
I'm sorry, I have to go to another meeting. Sorry. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for the beautiful topic, Brian. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Brian.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sunam.
Thank you, Hasso, for organizing.
Pleasure.